Hello and welcome to this episode of RNR with Rick and Ryan. I'm Rick.
I'm Ryan.
And this is our review of Thor Ragnarok.
That's correct.
All right. Well, we just got out of the theater.
It's a little dark outside, so we can't do our traditional. Actually, it's not traditional. It's our flavor of the summer video review. So we're going to go back to audio because you wouldn't be able to see us on video. And based on some opinions, you shouldn't really look at us. So here's our audio review of Thor Ragnarok. Go, Richard Caruso.
All right.
I like it.
Okay. First off, I'd like to say that this is probably the strongest of the three Thor movies, in my opinion. At least, it's better than the second one for sure.
Yeah.
I would say it's at least equal to the original, if not better.
Definitely better than any of them. Chris Hemsworth, he's magic. He's just electricity. No pun intended. But, he's the strongest of the Hemsworth brothers. And he's really got the energy to carry a movie. I've always thought that, but unfortunately, it's all the back characters with the exception of Loki. Loki is by himself entertaining as shit. But, the whole mythology, the whole side characters within the Thor universe, I have no interest in at all. Which is a good thing for this movie because any of your favorite characters from the previous Thor movies, other than Loki, are gone. They pretty much cut out any of Thor's lackeys. And Lady Sif was not even in this movie. Did she die on the second one? I don't know. That's how forgettable that Thor: The Dark World was. Because they could have killed Lady Sif, and I would not have remembered. And I like Lady Sif, so yeah, she just wasn't even in this movie. But Volstagg, the little Asian fella, and the other fella, they're very memorable characters. Dead within a minute of their screen time.
Oh, so. Spoilers.
Who cares? I mean, comic book fans will know their names, but honestly, anyone else, you don't know their names, just like us. The only reason I know Volstagg, because that's just kind of a metal name. So, overall, best Thor movie. That wasn't a very high bar.
Definitely had a Guardians of the Galaxy feel.
Yeah, I really believe they took all their cues from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's very sci-fi, very funny. The comedy was amped, was dialed.
Yes, it was.
Up,
But not to where it became annoying.
No. Sometimes when you put too many jokes, kind of takes the, any sort of consequences out of it. Even though in any Marvel movie, there's no real consequences. With the exception of Yondu.
Ah, yes.
Yondu, the only person to die.
Quicksilver.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was very memorable, so.
Yeah.
Well, he was only in one movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess, alright, Quicksilver, I suppose. So Yondu and Quicksilver. But Yondu really was the good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything you didn't like in this movie?
The only thing that I could really say, I can't really say I didn't like it, but I thought it maybe a little too much of it, was the Hulk having more of a human persona after the fight. He was like having a conversation with Thor as the Hulk, and I don't know, it just didn't seem like it fit right. It didn't fit very well. I don't know. I don't know. That's really the only thing that really stuck out to me that just didn't sit with me very well.
Yeah, I mean, the Hulk his vocabulary has increased very much since, I guess, the Incredible Hulk with not Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. Edward Norton.
Edward Norton. Yeah, he talked in that one, but conversations were brief.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say much. This one, he was still a meathead, but he could get more words, sentence fragments. So yeah. So anytime you go to the gym, me lift weights and me do this, typical musclehead type people conversations. I don't even think that was, but yeah, I have to cut that part out because I'm basically sounding like the Hulk now. Yeah, I mean, sentence fragments and, not real. I mean, he's become much more conversational, more aware, instead of just blind rage. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much more I can say. I really enjoy this movie. Marvel is 3 for 3 this year. That's how many Marvel movies came out this year, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's Guardians, Spider-Man, and this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 3 for 3 this year. Last year, they were just kind of, But this year was pretty good. I'm feeling good about it. It's not dark. Everything's kind of on point.
It was fun. It was a fun journey.
Yeah. It wasn't emo. No Martha.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll never live that shit down.
That's why I've lost all faith in DC movies. I was
Wonder Woman.
Well, okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was different. It was separate. It didn't have anything to do with...
Well, this one right here. This next one coming in 2 weeks, which will probably be our next review, will be Justice League. It's either going to set the Justice League, or not the Justice League, the DC EU in the right direction, or I believe it's going to end it. Basically, all their eggs are in this basket. Even though I think they'll still be releasing movies, but I think it'll go in a different direction if this one doesn't go right. So, anyway, I digress. Thor the Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Ragnarok. I almost said Dark World. Thor Ragnarok. How would you rate it? I'd give it a good 8 out of 10.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. It's no Iron Man, but it's
No.
definitely up there.
Yeah, it's improved. It's made the Thor solo movies interesting again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after the Dark World, I don't know. That one was rough.
I enjoyed it, but it was not... It definitely could have been better, for sure. I like this one, I think, too, because they cut all ties with the Earth story.
Yeah.
I mean, he shows up with... he talks to Doctor Strange for a minute, and he's on Earth for a few minutes, but it's... there's no ties there. There's no fights there. There's no relationships there, really.
No Jane Foster.
Yeah, no Jane Foster, which is
sad. I enjoy me some Jane Foster.
Yeah. But that's beside the point. They totally stuck to the Thor realm storyline. And I think that formula worked better.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And Jeff Goldblum, I think he just needs to be in every movie.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you brought him up, because he's memorable, but I wasn't thinking about it. Okay, let's go with Jeff Goldblum, then I'm going to tell you something I don't like about the movie. Jeff Goldblum is an American treasure. He should be in every movie. I'm glad he's back, because I don't really remember anything he's been in the last 15, 20 years. He's probably been in stuff, but I've just forgot. But yeah, this one right here, he's entertaining. He's got that kind of that nervous, truly a memorable performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you could technically make him the villain as well. Hopefully he shows back up in other movies. But yeah, he's very neurotic, nervous,
I can't even really call him a villain. He was just a
dick.
He saw an opportunity and took it, and he became the leader guy of this trash world and started gladiatorial fights.
Yeah, prisoners with jobs.
Yes, not slaves.
Not slaves. He hates the S word. But yeah, it's very funny. Very excellent role. But alright, I want to tell you my pet peeve with this movie. And this is just like, if I had to find something.
Not enough nudity?
I don't think any movie has enough nudity. Even porn. Anyway, back to point. There's something I noticed. This is my second viewing. I always watch it on Friday, then I watch it on Sunday with Rick, then I review it. I like to catch everything so I don't have one of those instances where I see a movie that's probably pretty good, but I wasn't able to absorb everything and say it was bad. Like Ghostbusters. No. Ghostbusters was bad. I've seen it twice. This movie, did you notice the citizens of Asgard have no emotion at all?
Yeah, they just kind of react.
No, they didn't even react. They just kind of had that dumb look on their face, like, huh.
Well, they're common folk. They don't really...
Well, common folk still can see their world being destroyed and making other faces, other than just like I have a face.
I just saw it as...
they just looked looked like they were watching TV. Or it looked like exactly what they were, just like people like us, and there's a blue screen, and they're just like, stand there.
Yeah. I just took it as they were in shock because of everything that was going on. They were like deer in the headlights type thing.
Yeah, well, a whole lot of deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
And they're pretty much useless.
Yeah. Yeah. Idris Elba returned.
Yeah. He should be in everything, too.
He's
good.
He really should. He should be the shark from Jaws.
That would be interesting. I was going to say, I could really see him as another James Bond.
Yes.
Now, there was a rumor flying around there for a minute that he was going to be the next James Bond. But that didn't happen for some reason. But I think that would be he would be a good choice.
Yeah, he should play everything.
Yeah. It's pretty much the review, right?
Yeah, there's not really much more we can say about it. It was really good. Everyone's seeing it. It's made a lot of money this weekend. It's probably going to make a lot of money next weekend because there's nothing really coming out. And then it'll be Justice League, and then, Thanksgiving season. And
Star Wars.
Yeah. It should hold pretty strong for a few weeks. So that's good. Marvel needs more money.
Oh, yeah, they're barely making it.
Yeah. I believe there was a time where Marvel was bankrupt.
Yes.
It's insane. And it's like you have all these characters and you can make these movies. Even in the 90s, late 90s, you can make these movies not as pretty, but...
I just think they didn't have the right people to make the movies where they would have been able to do them justice. They didn't have... They didn't have the right brains behind the projects, I guess.
It was the money.
Yeah.
They couldn't get the actors.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Chris Hemsworth, if they ever replaced him, I just don't know if it would ever work.
I don't think they should never replace any of the actors for the movies. If the actors want to leave, they should kill the character.
I don't want to kill the characters.
I
just don't want to see them replaced.
I know.
Okay. All right, so that's the Thor review. Let me throw our next subject out because we do a 2 or 3 subject show for about 30 minutes. So we're going to talk about The Walking Dead. Did you watch last week's episode?
I did. I watched it.
You watched the second. I only watched the first episode.
Second episode is a lot better.
Really? Okay, well maybe I'll check it out then.
Nothing really got accomplished in the
No.
second episode, but it was, I guess, more enjoyable to watch just because
there's so much wrong with The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
They need to stop.
Yeah, I don't. It's like they're in a downward spiral, and they need to change. They need to change things to make it good again. But they're also they're into the storyline that they can't just pull out of it. You know,
they had an opportunity. Okay, we haven't done an episode since I don't know, a month after we said we'd be doing this weekly. All right, Walking Dead, episode 1 of season 8. We're in season 8.
I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, episode 1, season 8. Rick. Coral. Rick, he marched on, I guess, the compound of the governor.
Yes.
Not the governor. Fucking.
Yeah. Negan, the other governor.
Negan. Man, they miss the governor. They don't. You have no idea how much they miss the governor. That dude could act the shit out of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, but Negan, they march on Negan, which Negan, if they ever get rid of Negan, that's when the show really ends, because he was the only entertaining part of episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just chews that scenery and he does it so well. But okay. Shit. I mean, if anyone's listened, they're gonna know that I'm no longer a fan of The Walking Dead. I'm gonna go and put that up front. It's boring. It's dumb. It's bad writing, a lot of bad acting. It's bad. It's really bad. I'm just kind of trailing off. I didn't really prepare anything, but like literally, Rick has a machine gun pointed at Negan, and instead of ending it right then and there, does anything but hitting. I was like, I think you're missing the point. Like, this dude's a bad guy, and you have a machine gun pointed at him, and he's, acting his ass off, taking 10 minutes to say a 1-minute phrase, kind of like what I'm doing now, just kind of just blah, 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 he's, like, Negan's not even aware that he has machine guns pointed at him. Or, if he is, he doesn't care, and that doesn't make a compelling villain either. There's a whole just lot wrong. And I was like, you're missing the point. It's like, I don't know what to say. It's bad. It's bad writing. It's bad television. Like, they can't go back to season 2 where no one had any guns and there was a real threat from the zombies. Like, the zombies are just...
It's kind of like an afterthought now.
Yeah, it's just like they're there. The human drama is more like, no, it's not. The survival element of The Walking Dead is what made that show compelling. Now it's so far gone, it's like, just end it, be done with it. Rick was having a dream. Be done with it. Damn it. How do you feel about it?
I'm pretty much right there with you.
Yeah.
It's almost now, I'm not really a fan of Walking Dead, but I'm a fan of Negan, and that's why I still watch it. But I don't know, it's like it doesn't go anywhere. Nothing happens really until like the last episode of the mid-season finale, and then the last episode of the season. It's the only time anything ever really happens in the show, and it's a long journey to get to those 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer that the show goes on, the less and less rewarding those 2 episodes are, because it takes so long to get to the good stuff. And I don't know. They just need to revamp everything. I don't know.
That's called cancel it. Be done with it. I know it makes money, and I know they'll never cancel it, but you're souring all the stuff that was good by continuing the way it is. Let's talk about The Simpsons if we want to talk about souring.
Yeah, The Simpsons hasn't been good since the late 90s.
There you go. But it's still going. Well, you know. Yeah, I mean, they had a good thing. It's gone. I couldn't tell you the last time the show was compelling. Season 4? Season 5? I don't know, the attack on Alexandria, that first episode of that season?
Yeah.
Not Alexandria, Terminus?
With the cannibals?
Yeah. That's probably the last time I was entertained by that show. So, yeah, it's just it's time to end it. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. And it can go. It can go away.
Netflix, did you watch Stranger Things yet?
I'm in the middle of season 2.
Okay. I'm starting this week. That means season 1 and season 2. I haven't watched it all. Just like, what was that? Making a Murderer show?
I never watched it.
Me either. I was like, everyone was talking about it. I'm like, I don't need to. I've heard everything I need to hear with people talking about it, so no need to watch.
I've been on a documentary kick lately on Netflix. I don't know what it is. Just
documentaries are good.
And it's like everything. All the documentaries are either about Hitler or World War II or Auschwitz or something not really good. You know, bad history. But it's entertaining and it's very informative and it's I like learning about history. Yeah.
Well, there's always news about Hitler coming out every day. Even now, it's there's nothing really I can say about it. I mean, to be fair to you, I mean, everything about that is interesting because I don't know. There's just something about that lures. Not in a negative light, I guess. I don't want to make this like we're Nazis, but my God.
We're definitely not Nazis.
Yeah, we're not Nazis, but there was just something interesting about that time.
I think it's kind of like the whole train wreck. You know, you don't really want to see it happen, but you can't stop. You can't stop watching it. Because it's almost unbelievable that shit went down.
Yeah.
And just learning about how all the shit did go down, it's entertaining.
I know. Okay, yeah, so documentaries. Good.
Now, I did watch a movie today when I woke up. I don't know why I watched it. I was just kind of going through the new stuff that came out on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was called Ripped.
Ripped.
It was about
muscle building?
No.
Bodybuilding?
No. It was about. It wasn't a documentary, so this is kind of off subject. But
you're watching gay porn.
No. This is on Netflix. It was about these two stoners back in the 80s, and they get their hands on some like CIA created mega cool weed, and they end up like catching it all on fire while they're in their van.
Yeah. So
they get super stoned and pass out, and they're in a coma for 30 years in their van. And I don't know why I watched it because it sounds so stupid, but I watched every fucking minute of it. And I guess like I said, kind of like a train wreck. You know, you just can't stop, can't look away. But yeah, it was just about them waking up 30 years later, and trying to adapt to modern day society. They're in their mid to late 40s, but they still have the minds of teenagers because they don't have that development, and they're basically kids in middle-aged bodies.
Uh-huh.
And It's just one fuck up after the other. And there were some good not laugh out loud, but giggle out loud moments. It was entertaining.
Well, I'll check it out later.
If you got an hour and a half to kill, and you want a mindless, brain-numbing film, check it out.
All right. This comes to our last statement that I'm going to make. We're going to make a quick argument. Okay. I was at work last week, and I was on a piece of equipment, kind of on my own. So when you're by yourself, you think about weird shit. And I was thinking about the movie Wayne's World. And I was like, I like Wayne's World, but then I started thinking about it. Now that I'm adult-ish, I started thinking, I believe that Wayne Campbell is the villain of Wayne's World 1. I can't argue Wayne's World 2 because I don't really remember most of that movie. I know it was about something, but I'm not really intimate with that movie the way I am with the original. And I was thinking, wow, as an adult, I'm looking at Wayne Campbell and like, he's a dick. He's a dick to everyone. I believe that Benjamin, who is not exactly he's not a good guy or a bad guy. He's just kind of a guy. He's a guy who's risen up through the television ranks, become kind of a hot shot at his job, and he wanted to land Noah Vanderhoff, the richest man in Chicago, who was
Noah's Arcade.
Noah's Arcade. I was getting there. But, so, see, kids, in 1992, arcades were profitable. And you're thinking, what's an arcade? Well, an arcade used to be everywhere. You used to play these big machines that you play on your phones now. But anyway, he landed Noah Vanderhoff with Wayne's World, which is cable access, blah, 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 blah. You know the movie. If you don't, you should watch it. But I'm thinking, Wayne Campbell, he signed a contract to do a job. And when he was forced to do the job, he basically embarrassed the sponsor and he got fired. Ultimately, he screwed over everyone and kind of screwed over Benjamin. It sounded more elaborate in my head. But ultimately, Wayne is the bad guy in Wayne's World because he fucks everyone over, and that's that. What do you think?
I'm going to have to completely disagree with you on that.
How so?
Because they took Wayne's World. They bought the show Wayne's World.
Okay. Standard business contract.
Right. They bought the show to put it on a network channel so people could see Wayne's World everywhere.
That's correct.
But when they wanted to put the show on a network channel, they didn't want to do Wayne's World anymore. They wanted to change it all up to where it wasn't even really Wayne's World anymore. It was Rob Lowe's World or whatever. Whoever was coming up with these ideas. So, and Rob Lowe, to me, does represent the victim, or not the victim, sorry, the villain of the show, of the episode, of the movie, because he represents the man. He's the corporate man, and Wayne and Garth were not about the man. They were about sticking it to the man. They were kind of like 90s versions of hippies.
But they sold out.
They sold out, but they were naive when they didn't read the contracts thoroughly. So yeah, they fucked up, but the network was the villain in the show. Because they bought the rights to the show and tried to change it into something else. And that means the show is the victim.
Really?
Yes. Wayne and Garth, the creators of the original cable access show, are the victims.
Okay. But Wayne did not think about Garth. He did not think about...
Garth didn't even think about Garth.
Well, and I'm trying to think about Terry. I don't think I can... All the crew, I can't think of all the names. I know one of them's name's Terry. But there's like members of the crew. What happens to them when it's all over? They lost their jobs. They got a paycheck, probably for the first time in their lives, because they represent late teens, I guess, or early 20s. I can see it from your perspective, and you're looking at it from the perspective as we did, as basically everyone did from the youth when that movie was new. But as an older person, I can see where Benjamin's just like, well, people like this show, but we need to make it like fuller. Because how long was that show, do you think? 15 minutes?
Right.
So they had to extend it to a 30-minute episode.
Right. to
extending it to a 30-minute episode, they probably had to, agree to some things. I mean, if they didn't read the contract, that's on them.
Right.
And ultimately, it boils down to content. Like, how long would Wayne's World really work? I don't think this show would be any good anyway. I mean, I don't think the cable access show would be that great, Well, I don't... Okay, well, can we agree that neither one of them are any good?
Neither one of whom?
Okay, this is kind of Wayne versus Benjamin.
Okay.
Rob Lowe versus Wayne. I don't think either one of them are innocent in this, really. And I was hoping you'd bring up Cassandra, and it was like, dude, anyone would go after Cassandra.
Well, yeah.
So I was really hoping you'd go with that argument, but I'm proud of you. You didn't go with Cassandra.
Yeah, I can't really fault Benjamin for pursuing Cassandra.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's one of my laws.
Because she wasn't really, her and Wayne weren't really official together.
They might have been.
I mean, I don't.
He was hitting it.
Well, I don't know.
Well, yeah, based on her world, But she really seemed into him.
Yeah.
And she wasn't at all into Benjamin.
Right.
Which blows my mind. Because Rob Lowe is a vampire. Because he looks the same as he did in that movie.
Yeah, he does.
Might want to look into that. Yeah, it was just a thought I was having at work.
Interesting perspective, though.
It is. I mean, as you get older, you start thinking more corporate and stuff like that instead of taking down the man. It's like sometimes you just got to join the battle. And just like, I don't mind working for the man because working for the man gets you paid.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, if that had happened to me, I wouldn't have destroyed the chances that I had with the network. I would have gone along with what they wanted to do because that money was still coming in.
That's right, I'm a company man.
And hey, at least you get to be on TV for a living,
Yeah.
Even if they were kind of messing up what you had in the original show, because it looks like Wayne's basement, but that's not Wayne's basement.
Rick, that was a haiku. Great movie.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, just a little thought. Not a well thought out thought, because
talk amongst yourselves about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. When you're alone, you don't have anyone to argue with, so you don't really see anything from perspective, and you get it built in your head that this is just the way it is, and that's not always true. That's why we keep Rick. The yang to my yang, which sounds sexier than it really is.
You mean the yin to your yang?
No, yang to my yin.
Oh.
What did I say?
I don't know.
You said it right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I don't know what I said. Yin to my yang?
Either way it works.
Yin to... He's playing with my yang.
No.
There's yangs and yins being yanged. Okay. Well... I think we're just going to cut it off here since we stepped way so far away from where we were. Let's go and shut it down.
All right. Signing off for this episode of RNR Rick and Ryan. He's Ryan.
And he is Rick.
Check you later.
Later.